Some true crime stories begin with sirens, with breaking news banners, with court documents and mugshots. This one didn't. It began with a single message. Not a scream, not a manifesto, not even a threat sent to the public. Just a private instruction sent to a roommate. Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard. According to the story that later spread online, what the roommate claims to have found there would ignite one of the most disturbing digital debates in recent memory. A handwritten note. Short, direct, chilling. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. Whether those words were ever truly written, on paper or otherwise, has never been independently confirmed. But once screenshots began circulating, the internet did what it always does. It filled in the gaps. The messages. What followed, if authentic, read less like a confession and more like a live journal. A calm, casual text exchange allegedly sent in real time. The roommate's replies, according to the screenshots, are filled with disbelief. Asking if this is a joke, asking if this is real, asking what exactly is being said. The responses attributed to Tyler are unsettling not because they are loud, but because they are quiet. There is no ranting, no spiraling emotion, no dramatic language, just logistics. He allegedly writes about being nearby, about waiting, about police presence calming down, not fear, timing. He talks about leaving an object behind while changing clothes, about wrapping something up, about being less concerned with being caught than with fingerprints, serial numbers, and family fallout. At one point, the tone turns surreal. The messages, again allegedly, include jokes, references to engraved bullets, comments about how they're mostly a meme, speculation about how media outlets might react. For many readers, this was the most disturbing part. Not hatred, detachment. Delete this exchange. One message stands out more than the rest. A command. Delete this exchange. The explanation that follows is oddly specific. The object is unique. A photo has allegedly been released. Family members, described as deeply political, are calling repeatedly. He isn't answering. He worries not about prison, but about disappointing his father. About a family heirloom never being returned. Then the tone shifts again. He claims he's going to turn himself in. He instructs the roommate not to speak to the media, to get a lawyer, to stay silent. And then, nothing. The messages stop. No follow-up, no confirmation, no arrest tied directly to the texts. Just silence. The internet reacts. Once the screenshots appeared online, reaction was immediate and deeply divided. Some people were convinced. They argued the messages were too detailed, too mundane, too strange to be fabricated. They pointed to the lack of dramatic language, the way the sender seemed more preoccupied with logistics and consequences than ideology. Others weren't convinced at all. They noticed something else. The writing felt polished. The pacing felt theatrical. Certain lines sounded scripted rather than spontaneous. Phrases like, "Some hate can't be negotiated out," raised eyebrows. Not because they were extreme, but because they felt written, too quotable, too self-aware. Critics asked the obvious question, why would anyone confess something so serious in writing? And more importantly, why would no authority confirm it? What we actually know. Here is the most important part of this story. There has never been official confirmation that these messages were real. No verified law enforcement statement, no court filing tied to the texts themselves, no independent authentication of the screenshots. That doesn't automatically mean they are fake, but it means they cannot be treated as fact. In true crime, that distinction matters, because history is full of fabricated confessions, role-played extremism, hoaxes designed to provoke outrage, and viral content created to feel just real enough. Performance versus reality. Experts who study online radicalization point to something uncomfortable. Modern extremism doesn't always announce itself with rage. Sometimes it mimics calm intelligence. Sometimes it borrows the language of irony. Sometimes it hides behind jokes. This is often referred to as performance extremism. Not always meant to lead to action, but meant to shock, to intimidate, to test reactions. The texts, if fake, fit that pattern disturbingly well. They read like someone who understands how violence is discussed online, who knows the aesthetics, the vocabulary, the rhythm, almost like a script written for believability. And if they were real? This is the question that makes people uncomfortable. Because if the messages were authentic, they reveal something even darker. Not rage, but normalization. A mindset where the idea of violence is spoken about casually, where consequences are treated as inconveniences, where the most emotional concern isn't morality, but reputation. True crime has shown us this before. Some of the most dangerous moments are not when someone is emotional, but when they are calm. Why this story won't go away. This narrative refuses to disappear for one reason. It sits in the grey space. Not proven, not debunked, not resolved. And humans hate unresolved stories, especially ones involving public figures, ideology, and the possibility, however remote, of catastrophic violence. The story becomes a mirror. People see what they already fear. Some see proof of imminent danger. Others see proof of moral panic. Others see proof of how easily misinformation spreads. The real danger. Regardless of whether the texts are real or fake, the danger is real. Not the alleged plan, the normalization. The way extreme ideas can be packaged casually. The way people can read something like this and almost accept it as plausible. In true crime, sometimes the scariest thing isn't what we can prove. It's what feels believable. The silence after no verified follow-up ever emerged. No clear ending, no courtroom resolution. Just a story suspended in uncertainty. And maybe that's why it lingers, because it forces us to confront something uncomfortable. That in the age of screenshots and virality, the line between reality and performance can blur. And when it comes to violence, that blur is dangerous. Final thought. True crime often teaches us how monsters act. This story, real or not, teaches us something else. How easily the idea of violence can be spoken, how casually it can be typed, and how quickly people are willing to believe it. Sometimes the most frightening stories aren't the ones confirmed in court. They're the ones that almost convince us.
That's another Another case closed here in the Rotten Swamp. The truth always surfaces, no matter how deep it's buried. If you're hungry for more dark mysteries, hit subscribe and ring that bell. Until next time, keep your doors locked and your secrets buried deeper than mine. This is Rotten Swamp, where justice never runs.